Yo, you born, bro. You born. Hey, show me that energy. Show me that energy. Let's see that energy. You ain't got no energy. That's right. You ain't got no energy. Dance off. Dance off. You can't stop it. You can't stop it. Enjoy getting knocked out Saturday night, scrub. You're still number 2 in the world.
We in Vegas.
Making Vegas great again. Dana. Dana, what's up, bro? How you doing? How you doing? I just want an explanation why I'm not fighting for the belt this weekend.
Stop filming.
Come on, bro.
Stop filming.
I want an explanation, man.
Gambling. You too.
All right, guys, welcome back to the UFC'n. I wanted to let those two videos, the video of Colby interrupting Kamaru Usman's open workout and the video of Colby confronting Dana White, because I'm curious to see what you guys think about the reasoning behind Colby Covington stirring up all this drama. In my opinion, I feel like Colby's feeling left out. I feel like he's feeling like he's the last one picked, like we're in middle school again or something. I feel like he's, in his mind, the fans have forgotten who he is, and since he's not on this UFC 235 card, he's going to have to do something dramatic to get everyone's attention back on him. I don't think he can handle the attention all being off of him. I mean, no one was focusing on Colby Covington this week. Everyone's focusing on Kamaru Usman and Tyron Woodley and how great of a matchup this is, and how much everyone wants to see this fight. Now, don't get me wrong. I think Colby Covington probably deserved to have this fight. He's the interim title belt holder, so it would have kind of made sense for him to have the fight next against Tyron Woodley. But from what we understand and what we've heard from the UFC, they offered him this fight. They offered him the fight against Tyron Woodley, and the man wasn't ready. He hesitated. Now, given Tyron had that thumb injury that kind of kept him out and pushed the fight back a little, but when the UFC calls, when Sean Shelby and the matchmakers call you, you have to be ready. You can't hesitate, especially against someone like Tyron Woodley, who can do nothing but good things for your career and can do nothing but propel your career if things work out well. Even if Colby took that fight then and lost the fight, he would have been way better off than he is now. I mean, honestly, with his mindset, and this is just an assumption on my end, this is my opinion. I haven't talked to Colby Covington about it. I haven't got his feelings on it. So I don't know for sure if that's what happened, but I feel like Colby was feeling left out. I mean, you look at what the work the man's put in. He just beat RDA, he beat Damian Maia, he beat Dong Young Kim, he beat Dadbod Barbarino. So he hasn't been fighting slouches by any means, and the man has put in the work to have that true title shot. But when you're not ready, when Sean Shelby calls and the matchmakers call, you get passed up, and that's what happened. Kamaru Usman was ready. He stepped up. He had an incredible showing against RDA. He earned this fight against Tyron Woodley, no doubt in my mind. Kamaru Usman definitely has earned a shot at the title. Now, I do feel like Colby Covington deserved it before then. With the storyline and with the drama behind it, and the UFC could have really pumped some marketing dollars behind it and made this a big fight. I think the interest in Tyron Woodley has kind of risen back up since that pretty lackadaisical fight against Damian Maia. I mean, let's be real, that was a pretty boring fight to watch. But Tyron Woodley just submitted Darren Till. He beat Damian Maia, of course. He beat Stephen Thompson twice, Robbie Lawler, Johnny Hendricks, Kelvin Gastelum. I mean, the list goes on and on with who Tyron Woodley has beat in the UFC. So it 100% makes sense that he's there. It makes sense that any of these guys should be in this position. It makes sense for Tyron Woodley and Kamaru Usman, and it makes sense for Tyron Woodley and Colby Covington to fight. But again, when you're not ready to fight, when you talk all this shit like Colby Covington has and try to copy the blueprint that Conor McGregor laid out, you also have to be ready to fight like Conor McGregor was. No matter what, no matter when, no matter where, Conor McGregor said yes when he got offered a fight, and that's how he's made millions and millions and hundreds of millions of dollars from fighting in the UFC and boxing for that matter. So I think that's the difference when you look at someone like Colby and someone like Conor. Conor's always ready no matter what. Colby hesitated, and he's getting punished for that. Now, don't get me wrong, I do feel like the winner of this fight between Usman and Woodley are going to go on to fight Colby Covington, as long as he doesn't piss Dana off so much that he truly does release him, and he calls Colby Covington's bluff, saying that Dana should just release him if he doesn't get a title fight next. As long as Dana's not too pissed off, I do think we're going to see Colby Covington versus Tyron Woodley. I think Woodley's going to pull out the fight against Usman. Now, again, don't get me wrong, I love watching Kamaru Usman fight. I'm a fan of his. I'm a fan of Tyron Woodley's. So I hate to kind of predict against Kamaru Usman, but this is just based on facts and who I think the better fighter is. That's nothing personal. It has nothing to do with anything in his personal life or anything he said or done. It's just simply based on the octagon, what has been done in the octagon and what they've proven to people. So it's going to be really interesting to see how this plays out. I do hope we at one point get the fight against Colby Covington and Tyron Woodley, but if they wait too much longer, the interest is just going to fizzle out, and no one's really going to care when this fight does come around. I mean, there's been a lot of timelines in boxing, MMA, no matter what sport you look at, that there's been matchups made 2 years too late or 3 years too late where the fans just simply don't care anymore. They're not that interested in the storyline. It's been too long. It's just not something that interests them. I hope that's not what happens with this fight, but for that not to happen, Tyron Woodley and Colby Covington are both going to have to be ready to go shortly after this fight at UFC 235, in my opinion. They're going to have to be ready to say yes almost instantly after this event, I feel like. So again, it's going to be great to see how this kind of plays out. It's entertaining. None of us can lie about that. Colby definitely entertains us. He was a little rough starting off, trying to talk shit to people, sounding like like a middle school bully with his comebacks, but it seems like he's kind of worked on that and become a little bit more sharp and intelligent with his rebuttals to people. So that's one thing that's going to keep people tuned in. I believe that's one thing that's going to play to their favor. But again, it's going to be interesting to see how the UFC plays out and if the UFC is still interested in making this fight. So again, guys, make sure to stay tuned. We'll keep you updated on this story and every other story leading up to 235 and 236 and every other event from then on. Other than that, guys, one last thing here. I know you guys hate to hear this from every single YouTuber in the world, but I'd really appreciate it if you guys would hit that subscribe button. It helps me out more than you realize. It helps the channel grow more than you realize. And I want this to become some sort of community forum where we can all get together and not care about what people think about our opinions and truly have conversations about these fights and the drama leading up to the fights, the news that comes out before the fights, and just to kind of keep an open forum for everyone, which I don't think there's really an open forum to do that in the MMA world. So I'm happy to be that place, and I need your all's help to do that. Thanks again for tuning in. We'll see you on the next video, and definitely tune in to UFC 235 this Saturday. It's going to be one for the books.